Hello, fam. Happy August. And with August, we are in the last month of summer. And this is a time where most of you are really maximizing this final month, whether it be taking the vacations, taking time for yourself, rejuvenating. And a lot of common questions I've been getting asked revolve around self care. And during this, I would say slower month where we're able to take care of ourselves a little bit more deeply, we see a lot of self care practices that are great, but they're more band aid solutions short term. So, this episode, we're going to talk about self care practices that are much more long term and sustainable and go a bit deeper than a quick reset, so to speak. I will cover kind of quick resets and things you can do when you just need a moment of rejuvenation, but we're going to find ways to even make those practices deeper. But I think first and foremost, I really want to discuss ways to get your body back to its natural state of homeostasis. And that's what self care is all about, right? Our body's always protecting, loving us, making sure we're back to this balanced way of being, everything from our mindset, our physical body, our spirit. And so these are some exercises to help your body and help yourself get back to that balanced mindset and balanced health. Um, so I first want to highlight, and it may be a little bit of shock for a lot of people, but you, yes, you know in every moment what you need. And it may be a little bit of a shock because in this world today, we are constantly told that we are not enough. We need to buy these things. If we are not enough or be told we're not enough, that's how we're incentivized to consume, right? That's how people can sell to us. So I know for some of us saying, like, how would I know at every moment what I need? You do. And I'm gonna walk you through how we're gonna get to figure out what you need. But you at every moment, when you tune into your intuition and you listen to yourself, you always know exactly what you need. And what you need may be help, right? It can be a professional help, it could be a doctor, it could be, a masseuse, it can be different. You may not know how to do the thing or get the solution, but you yourself know what to ask for and what you need. And that's the biggest foundation I want to set before we kind of jump right back in to the actual practices for self care. So, self care is a customized process, right? What do I mean by that? It is not like one practice of self care for me works for every one of you, right? And what works for me will change. What works for you will change depending on what you're going through, what you're focusing on, things that you went through in the past, right? So it's it's a customized journey, but again, you yourself always know what you need. So I really want to hone that in first to say, again, remember your power. Your power is always within. You always know and you always will be guided, but you have to learn to trust your intuition and listen to your intuition in that inner voice. So, in order to know what is intuition, right? I also want to share what makes something coming from your intuition. What does it feel like versus what is when it's coming out of your fear or ego, which is not your intuition, right? So let's learn to hone on to intuition. What does it look and feel like? How would you know? So intuition comes in peace. It comes in like a soft whisper, and it is coming in a very positive tone or calm tone, even if the message itself is not calm or positive. I'll give you an example later. But the reason why is because your intuition is here to serve your highest good. It's always, rooting for you. So it's always trying to give you messages in a positive, or I would say neutral tone. It's like a little ping or a soft whisper. Intuition does not cause panic. It does not instill fear. It doesn't give you intense negative feelings, right? When you hear something or experience something or see something and you get in that, like, your full body's in fear mode or panic mode or flight or fight mode, that's your ego. That is your body kind of taking over, whether it's from, traumatic experiences you've been through or just a fear that you have. But that crazy sensation that's in just an alert or fight or flight mode, that's not your intuition. Okay. That's fear. Now, let me give you an example I mentioned of how you know it's your intuition protecting you and it's not delivering a good message, but it's still coming in a positive tone. So many people, many of my clients, friends, even myself, have experienced this where, say, you be walking down a road or driving, or you had a game plan for the day, right? Something inside of you, it was a soft whisper, it was a ping, or just like a little floating thought that came through that just said, take another route, or take a later flight, or let's find a different way to go to work, and you just follow that. It just felt like a little natural guidance, right? And then later that day, or maybe weeks later, you found out there was an accident down the other road that you were supposed to take. There was something like the flight that you initially booked was actually delayed, and you would have missed all your obligations where you were supposed to go. Or the place that you were going to go to, but then your intuition was like, nah, let's go elsewhere. Actually, that initial place had someone that you didn't want to see, and you don't have a relationship with anymore. You don't want to really want to engage with, right? That is a perfect example of your intuition protecting you from something negative or something that you wouldn't want, but it still comes in a very soft, calm whisper. So I hope that kind of helps clarify what's intuition versus like that fear and panic mode. Now that we know how to decipher between the two, let's really get into a deep self care practice that works, and it can help anybody no matter what you're going through. So let me just preface by saying feelings are our biggest guidance. And in our world, growing in America, in our Western society, we are told to overuse our mind and our logic, but not really understand or process our feelings. But our feelings are so powerful because they are, like our intuition, a GPS, and they're telling us something, right? Every single feeling, whether it's a feeling you may not want, like sadness, anger, these are all here to serve you and to protect you, and all your feelings love you. By the way, for anyone who hasn't watched the movie Inside Out 2 yet, you gotta watch it. It talks about feelings, it talks about anxiety, and it's, even though it's a cartoon, it was it is such an amazing way to explain emotions even to adults. And we were all bawling at the end of it in a good way. So highly recommending watching that movie. It gives you a visual depiction of why feelings are important, how they help us. So with that said, feelings are a guidance. It's teaching us something. It's helping us getting towards what we want. It is important to listen to our feelings, and our feelings are actually stored into our body. So whenever you feel like scared or happy or joy emotion, you actually feel physical sensations, which is why a lot of your feelings, when people say they're stored in your body, is because once you have a feeling, your body evokes a sensation, and that's how you know what feeling you're going through. So sometimes when you think about a past memory that was not so great, right? You get the same feeling and negative sensation through your body, like that fear mode. Or when you're thinking about something that you really want, you really desire, right? Your body feels that emotion, and your body gets that calm or excited state of as if you already have the event or the thing that you want. So this is really important because when you tune into how you feel and how your body feels, like your sensations, that is telling you the things that you actually need, right? Not your brain, because your brain only knows what's tried and true by your own experience, or what it's read or heard, or what you watch on the news, or what media you consume, right? Your brain only its job is to keep you alive. So it will always say, okay, tried and true works. Yeah. Tried once, didn't work. No. Right. But your intuition and your soul knows there's limitless ways to achieve something. And just because something happened once in the past in this linear way does not mean it's going to repeat the exact same way, which is why it's important to listen to your intuition, because your intuition doesn't believe in binary outcomes. it's this or that. Your intuition was more creative and more expansive and can think through all the different types of scenarios and things that it can go through and help you sort out what's the best way to proceed. So, in order for self-care, in order to really figure out what you need for your self-care, it's important to listen to your feelings, which will be expressed through bodily sensations. So let's get into the actual exercise you can do. And because, as I mentioned earlier before, we have been overtrained to use our brain. We haven't been trained to feel and listen to our emotions. That's what we're going to do today because you want to, again, take your power back, and the power is in your emotions. Now, here's a simple exercise to start, just so you can get a little bit of your intuition and the GPS and kind of feeling your body, understanding how your body reacts to things. So, what I want you to do is close your eyes. You don't have to do it exactly now, but the exercise is close your eyes, be in a comfortable position. You could be seated, you could be laid down, and say out loud, because when you could say it in your head, but when you say it out loud, it's more powerful, and all your body registers it. And words are very powerful themselves. So when you say it out loud, there's more like oomph to it. So I want you to say it out loud. And two things. When you say it, I want you to notice the subtle changes in your body. So the first thing you're going to say, you're going to close your eyes and get in a calm state. You can put on some light music if you want, nothing distracting. And I want you to ask yourself, dear body, let me feel a full body yes. Let your body process that and literally feel it. Is it tingling in your fingers? Is it kind of like a softer a heartbeat? Is it a faster heartbeat? Like whatever change when you ask your body, please show me a full body yes. And I want you to clock that and register that. Then, once you kind of figure out the changes and sensations, I want you to close your eyes and ask yourself another question, and is, body, let me feel a full body no. And see the changes in the sensation there, right? You're literally scanning your body from head to toe to say, this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like in my body when my intuition says yes. This is what it feels like in my body when it's a no. A quick little reset, and just to kind of say, okay, I know what's yes, I know what's no. I know what the yes means my intuition. Okay. So that's one exercise. You can continue on the next one to build off what we just went through, or you can do it separately. So this second exercise is really knowing the difference, similar to the full body yes and no. It's more about like separating your brain, your monkey brain, and like the fear mode or the fight flight mode versus your intuition or your soul and your heart. Okay. So what I want you to do is, again, get in a comfortable position. It could be laying down, seated, whatever you're comfortable. You can put on light music if it's going to get you in a more parasympathetic state, but which is like a calm state. Put your hands over your heart. Doesn't matter which one's on top, whatever you're more comfortable, right? And I want you to first like do a body scan, see how your body's feeling. When I say body scan, it's literally from head to toe. Focus on your head, see how it feels, and then travel down to your toes just to make sure you're more in a chill state. And if there's any discomfort, you clock it, like you're aware of it. But then when you have your hand over your heart, I want you to scan your brain and your head and feel the energy in that head and what that feels like when you're focusing on your head. You want to feel the sensations and know that when you're focusing on here, what that feels like. Then I want you to move your energy, still with your hands on your heart, move that energy and focus on your heart. And then I want you to feel the sensations there. What does it feel like? Is the chest tight? Is it closed or is it expansive, right? That's also guidance to say, are you very closed off right now? Or you, even when you feel physically tight, it's a way of your closing off, right? Or is there ways, or do you feel expansive? Do you feel kind of open hearted, right? I want you to also breathe deeply into your chest, ideally through your nose, ideally 3 breaths in, 1 breath out to get you back in that parasympathetic. And parasympathetic is just when you're in the calm state. So you can really hear your intuition versus when you're breathing really heavy and fast, kind of like when you're working out, You're putting your body through stress and it's going through the fight or flight mode. So we don't want that, right? So have your hand over your heart, breathe in for 3, breathe out for 1, and really feel the sensations when you focus on your heart, just to level set and see where you're at. Okay. Then, once you clock how it feels to focus on your head and you know how you feel right in your heart, I want you to ask these questions out loud. And you can change these questions, by the way, but given the fact that we're trying to figure out self care and what things that we want to do personally for you, these are the questions that I suggest. We can always change it up and use this exercise for other things as well. So I want you to ask again, hands in your heart, in a chill state. Intuition. What does my body need right now? And let like the thoughts and ideas come up. Okay. Let the feelings come up. What does my mind need right now? Okay. A little bit different. What my body needs, what my mind needs. What are the self loving practices that will serve me best right now? Okay. So you're asking again your intuition. What are new activities I should explore? What do I need less of? And I think that's something that's so important. And I want to talk about this because oftentimes when we, want to heal through things, we want to be relaxed and whatnot, we're always, or we want to get to some next level. We always think like, what do I have to add more into my plate? What do I have to do more? A lot of the times, most of the times, it's not adding more, it's subtracting. It could even when it comes to your diet, it's not about adding more greens and fruits, and that's important. But first and foremost, you got to remove all the things that are not healthy, toxic. And say, for example, if you eat a lot of sugar, you drink a lot of alcohol, and you think, oh, I'll balance it by eating all these greens and fruit, you're still feeding your body with toxins. So the most important thing is to remove what do I need less of? Remove those toxins in order to create a clean slate for your body to be able to digest all the greens and all the fruit, right? So, priority number one, what do I need less of? Then this is also an interesting question. What should I remove completely? Are there any negative habits or things that you kind of got comfortable with and now it's really time to just let them go? And or it could even be like thought patterns, right? Are you self-sabotaging? Are there things that you're constantly doing that literally yields no benefit? So what should I remove completely? And then last thing is, what do I need more of for my highest good? Okay. So again, I always ask, what do I need less of first? Because it's about removing the things, and you don't want to overstress your body by adding more stuff. Remove the things that don't serve you. And then when you have a clean slate, what can you add more of? Now, one tip I would say is notice the first answers that you get. Okay. The first answers that just comes naturally is your intuition. The second answer is often fear or doubt that comes after, where you're like trying to rationalize it. Your first thought may be something so basic and you're like, that's too basic. It has to be more complicated. Trust the first thought that comes into your mind. That's your intuition. And it could be even a thought, it could be a vision. There are times when I do this exercise, I see things, right? Or I could feel a sensation, and that sensation I know is joy. So I ask myself, okay, what are the things that I really enjoy doing? Or there's the sensations of peace. And I think, okay, what are some things that I do or don't do that give me peace? So those are just some ideas of how to read the answers you get. Now, the second self care practice, which is deeply, deeply healing. And I would say it's okay if it takes you longer time to process. I would say you can do this the fast way, which I don't recommend. I would say at least spend half an hour doing this, up to, hours if you need to. But a really, really big thing about self care is forgiveness and forgiving yourself. So oftentimes when we feel like we need self-care, we feel like something's off balance, off homeostasis, right? We could be feeling stressed. We can be feeling just needing to like rejuvenate, reset, and um, take things off our plate in terms of self-care, like giving ourselves the energy back. When if you feel like you need to reset or give yourself more energy or take a break, it's probably because you've been giving too much energy to other things outside of you that you haven't really taken care of yourself. So now it's time for self-care, right? So this forgiveness letter that I want you to write to yourself is you're forgiving yourself for all the things that you've let slide that wasn't okay with you, things that you didn't love or honor about yourself, times you put other people first before yourself when you knew you can't pour from a empty cup. And basically all the things, or even be like beating yourself up. That's a common thing I see. Forgiving yourself for beating yourself up for not doing things to perfection level, right? Forgiving yourself that you did your best and that's what you need to do at every moment, right? Think about it. You looking back, hindsight's always 2020 because hopefully every day, every minute you're growing. So when you look back, you would, if your new self today, your older self today were to go back, you may have done things differently. But you have to remind yourself at that time, you did the best you could with all the information and resources you had. So it's really forgiving yourself and not beating yourself up for things that you may have done differently in the past or be ashamed of, right? So it's really forgiving and letting go of things that you're still carrying that have no place. Again, just think of it as removing a lot of heavy things in your mind and your heart that can again be stored into your body, releasing that so you can actually make room for more energy and more things that you can let into your life. So this forgiveness power letter is very important and it's very powerful. And on top of that, I want you to add, once you've written out all the things to forgive yourself back, you can go as far back as you want, like since you were a child, or it could be more recent things. Then I want you to write down the choices you commit to yourself and you promise to yourself that you will make going forward. And I want you to write down how you're going to love yourself going forward, right? Because again, once we remove it, let's build better habits. What can we do differently? How can we do things that actually honor and respect ourselves? And again, you can't give to others. You can't see the beauty in others. You can't love others if you yourself haven't loved you, because everyone else is literally just a mirror. Like, for example, if you don't have self-love and you don't think, you don't see, you just don't, you're not proud of who you are and you don't fully deeply love every part of you, all the light and the darkness, and every person has light and darkness, right? That's, no one is a saint. We're all human. Then you will never be able to love someone else because you'll nitpick on things about them that are really not a huge deal, but you'll nitpick on things and be like, oh, this person's not lovable either. That's not either, because you're people are always just reflecting the energy that you put out, right? So it's really important to clean that up, clean out the closet, then put in the new clothes and put in the new accessories into your closet, which are the new choices and habits and the ways you will love yourself going forward. Okay, that's the forgiveness letter. Now, I did promise you some powerful quick resets. So for those of you who may not yet have time to, kind of sit down and do the what I call the intuition test for healing, or even for those of you who do the intuition test that says like, oh, I need to do things that like make me more peaceful, or I need to do things that to give me more joy. But you're like, okay, now what? Like, what are those things? I'm completely new to this. Here are some powerful tried and true resets that universally helps everyone, right? And you just have to customize in terms of the length, I would say, how you actually carry out each practice. But these are tried and true. These are nothing, I would say, revolutionary. It's our ancestors have been doing this for, I mean, thousands of years. It's not anything new. It's just that we're remembering the wisdom in our body. And the first thing I would say is we are social humans, and the power of being around people that you trust and you love. I mean, they've done studies of people who lived the longest. It was never their diet or what they ate or how they exercised. It was, did they have close connectivity? Did they have a sense of community? Did they have healthy relationships? That was a number one thing. And so, and also like the science of happiness, same thing. I forgot which university did this, but it was the same thing where social connections determine whether or not you were going to be happy for the long term and if you were going to live a long time. So the first powerful reset is a 20-minute, 30-minute conversation with a confidant with someone you deeply trust, a coach, a therapist, someone who just is a safe space for you and will let you share. Because I'm really big on, as again, as I've mentioned many times before, you always know what you need. But oftentimes, what you need is help, is a friend, is a listening ear. So you still, no man's an island, right? Just because you know what you need doesn't mean you can survive on your own. So once you kind of figure out what you need, and if the need is a conversation, being able to share something very intimate to you that you just kind of want to, get it off your head. And oftentimes, why it's so powerful to talk to someone that you trust is because you get the answers and the clarity, and it goes away once you speak about it, because you literally release it out of your body. And a lot of times, a lot of conversations, just a matter of saying it out and releasing it. So I think the first most powerful reset is leverage your strong relationships. If you don't have someone, or if a situation you're going through, you don't really want to share with people that are close with you or family, right? They're amazing coaches, they're amazing therapists, right? Reach out to me. I'm happy to get to chat, hear about your situation and see where we're a fit. But there are people out there who want to help, who want to be a listening ear, and you're going to gain so much clarity and peace of mind and happiness from it. So that's the first thing I would definitely say is a powerful, powerful reset. Um, Second thing is visualization. I mean, especially during Olympic season, how many athletes have said like they've envisioned winning this gold medal? They practice this track 1,000 times so that when they show up on that day, it's like clockwork for them, right? This stuff works. So spending even a 5-10 minute just tuning into your body and visualizing something that gives you joy or peace. Your body does not know the difference between you physically experiencing that vacation or you're just thinking about it. So visualize it, think about the thing that you want, the thing that's going to give you peace or joy. Really think deeply. And I would say go a little bit below the surface and ask yourself what's truly going to make you happy, not surface level make you or other people happy. And because ultimately self-care is again self, right? It's less about peacocking and pleasing other people and getting your ego stroked. It's much more of what does my soul, what does my intuition need? So that's the second one. Third is, I've spoken about this many times, but breath work works wonders. Even a quick 5 to 10 minute breath work session. There's so many guided meditations. You can work with someone, a professional, but there's so many powers of breath work itself. I mean, it's literally within us. It's just our breath, and it can calm us down and get us into again that higher level or intuition brain. So I've done a separate episode on breath work. So take a look at that if you haven't seen it yet. Meditation. I mean, there's a reason why, the most spiritual people or people that are not even spiritual, but spiritual people, the happiest people, the most calm people, they are the most successful people. And when I say successful, let me clarify. Success is there's a formula to it, right? There's a science behind achievement. You can follow a script, you can follow the rules, and you're in a way on a path to success, right? But then there's the art of fulfillment. Being fulfilled, being content, being happy is not guaranteed. It's sold separately from the success. So when I say people who are successful, to me, true success is you're living life on your terms and you're genuinely happy and content and on a purpose, right? So I don't define someone who's successful if he's a billionaire and he's miserable. And there's a lot of that. But there's also a lot of very happy and blissful, successful people who, from a financial, spiritual, health perspective. So what I mean by people who do meditation and are successful, it's someone who's holistically successful that also really benefit from that. There are meditation, trust me, when I first got into it, I literally would fall asleep. And even when it was like guided with music, right? If you're new to this, you can definitely do meditation practices where it's guided with words. Those are super powerful and they help direct your thoughts. Especially you're like me, I tend to have spiraling thoughts. So meditation absolutely works. It is going to be a little bit of a research for you to decide to figure out like which platforms you like using, which people you like using. Even for those of you who are Equinox members, their app, I think it's associated with Calm, works wonders. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube as well. So it may be also a fun self care exercise for you to really research and get in what kind of modalities and types of meditation that work best for you. Um, Spa herbal baths are not a joke. If you look into the science between salt baths, Epsom salt, lavender, all that, it's not just a girly thing to do. It really does revigorate you. It helps like your skin. And again, because your feelings are felt through body sensations, when you take care of your physical body, you're also in a way inwardly healing your emotions and your feelings. So having a really just calming bath, and I would say pick the scents, the aromas, the salts that like do your research on them, but then pick the one that actually smells and makes you feel good. For example, lavender, everyone knows relaxes people, right? But if you don't like the scent or it makes you feel a certain way, like I wouldn't use it. I would go with, again, follow your feelings, pick the aromas that really work for you, and then pick the salts that make you feel very calm and relaxed as well. Something that not a lot of people do, it's so simple and it really changes um, the game, and something that we do every day is we drink water, but when you put fruit slices in them, it just boosts your spirit. And there's also obviously health benefits of the fruit. So obviously everyone knows like the lemon and the limes, but like orange slices, right? Pineapple slices, cucumber slices. The thing about when you go to a spa, right? Don't wait to treat yourself only when you go to a spa. Like really adopt the practices that they use when you're going to the treatment, because obviously they use it because it works. So fruit slices in water are just a way to like boost your mind and your spirit, and you're also doing something good for yourself. So that's something that it's an easy thing to do, and it tastes amazing. Having a solo 20-minute dance party and blasting your favorite music, I would say if you blast music for what you loved when you were a child or teenager in your most formative years, is extremely healing. And like for example, some of the artists that we used to grow up with are having a comeback. Listening to music you listened to when you were younger is extremely healing, especially as an adult. You kind of in a way tap into your inner child. And every time I do that, I remember how like carefree and abundant minded and just invincible I felt as a kid. And when I listen to those songs and I throw myself a dance party, I do evoke those emotions. I remind myself that's who I truly am. I've just been taught things as I've gotten older, but remembering what I want to unlearn and remembering who I am, music has a power in that. Stretching, trust me, I know I was never really big on stretching until I realized obviously the power of it, the relaxing elements, how it's truly needed, especially for those of you that work out. 10-minute stretching does wonders. And it gets, again, your mind in a much better state. So that's another great exercise to do. Running outside is wonderful. Obviously, you don't have to, kill yourself if you want to be easy on the joints and whatnot, but having a 20-minute run outside, being in nature, being trees is amazing. And then lastly, tied to that is walking in nature. So I came back from Banff in Canada, and I've been to a lot of places. Traveling is definitely one of my top hobbies, but Banff is definitely the most beautiful place I've ever been. And I used to think Santorini and Interlaken were the most beautiful places, and they both are up there. But Banff literally takes them out of the water, and even Capri. That's my personal opinion. And I think the reason why was obviously they've done studies on this too. Just seeing the beauty of trees and nature actually helps boost your immune system, like just the look of them. And then naturally, what they emit, the scents, the aromas, helps our immunity. And it's very calming too. So just being in nature, taking an easy walk, especially when you had a stressful meeting, you can just get to Bryant Park, do a quick 20-minute walk around Central Park. It really does cool you down. And I know, many of us after work would think, oh, I just need to get my happy hour in, blow off some steam. You can do that, but why not walk through a park or walk through by some trees first to chill you out? And by the end of it, you probably wouldn't even need or want that cocktail. So being in nature definitely helps. And yes, hugging a tree is completely healing, soothing. Again, there's like this energy exchange between you and plants, and hugging and physically touching a tree helps your immune system and cools you down. So those are, I would say, powerful, quick resets you can do. And again, customized to what works for you. Um, and then some things I want to that we a lot of us do that may be a little bit more superficial. I'm always thinking, how can I make a habit stick? And it's just enhancing things you already do versus doing a full revamp of your habits. So here are the top common ways people like to, perform self-care and relax, that I'm adding a little bit of a deeper spin to it. So instead of it being more of a superficial self-care, it can go deeper and last longer. So first thing is shopping. Most of the women here, guys too, but I know a lot of women. I mean, I grew up with a Hong Kongese mother where retail literally is her therapy, and going shopping on the weekends was literally how we bonded as a family. Even to this day, like shopping is just what we do. It's a sport in our household. Um, but what I added to that is that I started doing this when I was quite young because I wasn't a big shopper. I didn't like shopping. I loved like looking at things, experiencing life, traveling. I liked learning and being out there. So while you're shopping, I actually encourage you to start visualizing and thinking through when you see something, like just start visualizing when you see a beautiful dress, like what you could wear that for, or you see some beautiful things that you want to get in the future. Or what I used to do as like a treat myself is I would pick, it could be, I don't know, a handbag or a shoe, something that was a bigger price tag that I normally wouldn't just go and buy. And I would think to myself, how would I feel when I've had that thing? Where would I use it for? How can I enjoy it? How can I make it most out of this investment? I always thought like pricier items that I could reuse with actual resale value as investments. So I would think to myself, okay, I'm going to feel and achieve all these beautiful things and feelings when I have that thing. But what can I do? How can I get there? Right. So in a way, shopping became a way to feel the feelings that I would want. Like it would be a way for me to have a goal and think through how to achieve that goal in terms of things. The other thing with shopping is more of just learning, growing. I was really big on like the actual textures of clothing, where they were made, finding a way of shopping to be an actual learning exercise. That was really big for me. Or like just learning about different brands, how they style things differently, how they would compare, how like the businesses were run. I was really interested in the business side of like retail stores. So I encourage you, like, what about, shopping itself could you dig your hands into and be like, wow, I can learn more about this, right? Or like customer service, whether it be good or bad experience, I would learn like, okay, I would definitely want to adopt how to do that. Or, oh, this would be really great in like sales, but in finance sales. Or like, oh, that was a horrible experience. Like I've learned not to do that. So how can you make shopping into a growth and learning experience? And the last thing is shopping is a lot of walking, which is why I joke around, but it is a sport. So you are walking. Walking is so good for you. I would just say when you're shopping, be mindful of your body posture, making sure your back straight, you're standing up straight, you're not hunching back over. But I would say being mindful of your posture, but be grateful. I mean, be proud of yourself that you're actually working out while you're shopping. So that's one fun way to add more utility out of shopping. And also, you don't need to buy every little thing. That's why I think for me also, I always found like what are my like bigger ticket items that I look forward to getting, and how could I see myself visualizing or obtaining it, and how would I feel? How could I use it once I had the thing? So that's things, and so versus every single time I'm going, I'm buying something. There are a lot of times I'm shop, I don't buy anything. I don't. I'd rather just have a vision of that bigger ticket item and say, okay, I want that by usually I'd be like, I want that by a certain time and how I'm going to achieve it. And yeah, feeling the feelings of feeling how I would feel when I had that thing. That's for shopping. Secondly, is a lot of us obviously living in New York or any metropolitan city, happy hour is where we connect with people, where we blow off steam, where we kind of relax a little bit with alcohol. And listen, I am not against any of that. I've been doing it for a lot of my life, and I completely understand why we had this happy hour culture. But here's my twist. So I've cut off drinking for several months now, and I feel a huge, amazing difference. And a lot of people have been asking me about it. So I think I'm going to actually do a separate episode on it. But so many benefits from mindset, from like obviously health. Weight has melted off of me. I haven't changed my workouts at all. Wake up with energy, obviously no hangover, much more clear headed. And common thing I get asked is like, oh, isn't it hard to not drink when you go out, or has it been hard? Guys, I've been out, I've been in clubs, I've been everywhere where it's like concerts. I've been literally in all the cities and all the places where alcohol is a staple, and I've never felt like I missed out. In fact, I have more fun because for me, alcohol at a certain point, it actually makes me tired. It makes me want to go home earlier. So not drinking, actually, I get more energy because I'm having more engaging conversation. I'm directing conversations to be deeper. I'm enjoying myself. And I literally feel high or drunk when I'm around people who are drinking. And I think it's a mix of just it gets, lighting's a little bit darker, it's more dimmed, you're having fun, you're having a good time, that I literally don't feel the difference between going out sober versus drinking. And I still get to have all the mocktails that I want. So nothing for me has changed. So I would say the twist is go to happy hour, but maybe start with every other drink is a mocktail or a soda water. And then if you want, just cut out when you go to happy hour, cut out the alcohol, see how that feels. But yeah, you'll give it, I would say for me personally, a week and a half, 2 weeks in, I felt a huge difference. I saw a huge difference in my skin, like I told you, like my weight. And yeah, there's just no obviously benefits to alcohol. I mean, let me clarify. The amount of pros and cons, it's actually a net negative, especially if you're one that, if you're drinking, a couple drinks a night on the weekend, which is common for people who live in New York City, it just adds up and it's just really not good for you. And the other thing about not drinking is I've discovered so many other drinks that are delicious and good for you, from teas, elixirs. A lot of New York City bars have a huge mocktail menu. So you don't have to it's not weird to go to a bar. I've been to a lot of bars in the past couple of months and restaurants, and I've only been ordering mocktails from everywhere I've traveled to New York City. It's never been an issue. And actually more fun, and because you let the bartender get creative what they can make with no alcohol. So that's something I would suggest for you to play with when it comes to happy hour, making it more of a mocktail situation. Um, Third is a little bit tied to that, but as I mentioned, having connectivity, having deeper, meaningful connection is what keeps us happy and alive for longer. So when you go out or when you're out socializing, even in a work event, I encourage you to go deeper, ask deeper questions, ask better questions, get to know someone beyond their name, what they do, where they live, right? It's more fun for you. You get to bond with someone, you get to learn something new. So that's another thing. You're like, don't go out and just numb yourself with pointless conversations that you're not going to even remember this person or this thing that you talked about. Really get to know people and learn something. Use every opportunity. Every day is a learning opportunity. Every day should be treated like a playground because it is an adult playground, right? So enjoy, have fun, and I really encourage you to have deeper conversations with people. And last thing I would say is for the ladies, for the guys too, but I feel like women are really big when you hear self-care, you think like mask, skincare, and body care, all that stuff, right? So I'm all for that. I'm all for the mask and the bath and the skincare, but a way to make it deeper is be intentional with it, right? When you're putting on oils and you're putting on the skincare, right? Say loving things to yourself, right? Like, I'm so proud of myself for, being intentional with my skin, taking care of my skin. I'm so proud of myself for choosing natural organic products. So I'm really like showering my skin with love. You can start like doing your affirmations through it. You can again think like, oh, like how would it feel when you had that amazing glowing skin when you're on like going to vacation? How would it feel when you kind of really take care of your skin to the point where when you're on vacation, you don't have any breakouts, you don't have any issues when you get off a plane. Oftentimes, our skin gets a little wacky after we've been in the air. But yeah, I would say when a skincare supplement, really think about how you're taking good care of yourself, or how you're really showing yourself love through these practices. So that's another thing to really make skincare go a little bit deeper beyond just actually the skin. So I hope this helps. I hope all of these kind of tips and tricks really help you get deeper when it comes to self care. Because I'm all about, longevity. I'm really more about getting the most bang for your buck. So, yes, some of these practices, like a forgiveness letter, may cause emotions to come up, right? It may actually have a lot of things that you've never even felt before finally be felt. So I'm excited to hear how all this works for you all. And I'm excited for you guys to really enjoy this last month of summer of the year and make the most of it. This is your time. So enjoy. And I'll see you soon.